Welcome ladies and gentlemen to an Age of Empires 4 video, and today we're doing an arena build order for the Holy Roman Empire. Now this build order is going to get you a fast castle, and you're going to be then transitioning into getting some monks to be able to get the relics. Also we're going to couple this with a barracks for some early man at arms, and you can easily interchange this for a stable and knights if you so wish. Just depends what your opponent's going for, so do keep out the scouting information. So for the build order, the first 6 villagers go to sheep at the town centre. The first thing you queue up in your town centre will be a prelate, and we take 1 villager from the food to build a house and then to go back to the food. We take our sheep to the town centre, of course, because that's where we're going to gather the food, and we take our scout to find as many more sheep around the map as possible. The first 4 villagers from the town centre will go to gold, and yeah, we will look to get up to a fast castle kind of time and try and get some of those relics. Of course, we're going to go up with the Regnitz Cathedral, which gives us a nice little boost for a gold income from relics. Now I do have other build orders on the channel, specifically for Arena, so do check them out if you're interested. Of course, as we're covering the Holy Roman Empire today. And once you get about 2 to 3 villagers on gold, this is actually the time where you need to bring your scout back. So actually it's really around about 3 villagers on gold roughly. You need to bring your scout back, because otherwise you'll run out of food under the TC, and that's really what you don't want. So we just need 1 more villager to gold, and then after that we'll start to send the next 3 villagers from the town centre to build a lumber camp and go to wood. As you can see, we're bringing our sheep back home to the town centre, very important. And from here you've got a couple of options. Depends on what you've scouted so far, but if you've got a decent number of sheep and you're quite comfortable with the number of sheep you've got, you can actually start to push some deer from your arena, because it's a bit touch and go with the amount of food that you need to get up to the next stage without sort of relying on berries. And although of course denying the sheep is very important for your opponent, to be honest with this build, really the key is to get up to the castle age as soon as possible, and the deer is a faster source of food. So if you can get up to the 2nd age and then the 3rd age, the castle age, as soon as possible, I usually tend to prefer that, because it gives you a much better chance at getting the relics. And the relics, of course, you know, they're much more valuable than a sheep here or there. And yeah, just take a look now. This is how you can push the deer with your scout if you're not aware of it. It's something that's quite commonly done in Age of Empires 2. And yeah, you can just keep doing this. You can actually push 2 at a time. You can even get away with pushing 3 at a time, actually, to be honest. But yeah, it depends how greedy you want to be. Okay, so now that you've got 3 on wood, now's the time that you can build the Ark and Chapel. And you'll need to take 1 villager off of gold to do that. And once you do have the 3 villagers go out to wood, you're going to send the next 3 villagers to gold to make 7 in total that have gone to gold. But of course, there'll be 6 on the actual mine, because you've got 1 of them building the Ark and Chapel. So at this point you'll have 6 on food, 3 on wood, and you would have had 4 on gold at the time of clicking up to the next stage or building the Ark and Chapel. And we're aiming now for 6 on the gold mine. We're slowly going to get our deer underneath the town centre ideally, and we'll be able to start getting food from there as well. Okay, now that we've got 6 on gold, we're actually going to take 1 villager off of gold to build a house, but the new villagers from the town centre will go to food. That villager that's building the house will go back to gold. And here we are. We can get the new villagers to go to the deer, because actually we want to get that food as soon as possible as the kind of fastest source of food that we've got right now. And yeah, once you've got about 2 deer in, you can now think about going out to find more of the relics. And that's what we do. Take our scout out again, just to make sure we find the relic positions, because of course that's what we're aiming for this particular build. And from here really it's kind of just pretty standard. You're just going to get villagers to food and wait to get up to the next stage. It's also worth noting, obviously, with the Ark and Chapel, you definitely want to position it that you get coverage of the wood, the food and the gold as well. It's very key that you do that, so that you get the most efficiency as possible. Because when we do get up to the next stage, we're going to actually garrison our prelate, in the Ark and Chapel itself. Alright, it's also worth noting that we're going to go up to the next stage using 4 villagers from food, so you can actually control group 4 villagers that are gathering food now, just to get ready and prepared. And in terms of the number of villagers that are going to food, we're aiming for 16 in total, and we're going to take 4 off food to build the next landmark. So essentially you should be having 12 on food when you start building the landmark. Once you do have 12 on food, and you're building the landmark, you'll then want to train prelates, because you need the prelates to get out there, go to the relic positions and grab them as soon as you get it to the castle age. Okay, at this point you can take 1 villager off of gold to build a barracks, and as soon as you get to the feudal age as well, we're going to build a blacksmith using a villager from gold as well. Alright, almost there. We're going to get the prelate ready to get into the Ark and Chapel as soon as it's built. Prelate goes inside, and we build the blacksmith using a villager off of gold. I'm going to take 4 villagers to build the next landmark. We're going to just take a villager that was building the barracks or a villager from gold to build another house. And yeah, we're just going to get ready to get to the next stage, just drop off a little bit of food just to make sure we've got enough. And then we'll be building the Regnitz Cathedral. Okay, so because in this particular build we are going to go for early man-at-arms just to get some position on the map, we're going to get marching drills because that's actually quite useful. It actually impacts your prelates as well, makes them move faster. As you can see, we've queued up the prelates already, and we're queuing up the early man-at-arms as well. You could feel free to go for perhaps a stable instead of the barracks and go for knights. That could be a really good option as well. But we're going to go for man-at-arms in this case just to show this particular build. Once you do run out of food underneath the town centre, which could be around about now, you want to go to berries. As you can see, as the prelates come out, we're actually going to kind of group them up with a couple of early man-at-arms just to keep them safe if we can, and we keep our scout forward just to find out what's going on the field. And we start getting the prelates to go out to all of the relics. Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of sheep there. I don't actually bring that back to the town centre. The reason for that is because I'm demonstrating this against the AI, and the AI aren't very good at picking up sheep. So I wanted to try and make it as realistic as possible, and not, have a unlimited amount of sheep underneath the town centre. So just to give you a good idea that you're probably going to end up going to berries pretty soon. All right, so the man-at-arms are on the field. Prelates are getting out there. We're looking good here. We're going to also drop a second barracks using the villagers off of wood so we can get more man-at-arms out there on the field. Just gives us the best possible chance of getting the relics. We're going to take a couple of villagers, one of those villagers off of wood to go to food, because we don't actually need to prioritize wood at this stage. We go for food and gold. Obviously, once the relics are in your base, then you have a discussion to have about what your next sort of steps are. You could go for more town centres, or you can go for a fast imperial for the Palace of Swabia and just get those villagers printed, and I tend to do that. You just focus on food and gold. So we've reached the castle age, and we've got prelates already on the field ready to pick up those relics, so they pick it up and they run right back home. Of course, by now we've got marching drills, and so they're a little bit faster. And we continue to produce the early man-at-arms just until we can get all the relics nice and safely. And yeah, guys, that's your build order. From here, you've got a couple of options. As I said, you can go for a fast imperial age, you can go for a castle age push. It just depends what you're up against. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this build order tutorial, and if you did, do give the video a thumbs up. If you're interested in the PDF version of the build order, do check out the video description. If you've already got access to the PDFs, it will be there in the updated version. Take care, and see you next time.